up this morning, people, look round for my shoes. You know I had those mean walking blues. Woke up this morning, look round for my shoes.
Hey guys, we Solo here, aka the motherfucking Skeleton King. Quick update, I never monetized my videos. Well, I guess I did years and years and years ago. I actually somehow made a YouTube partner, don't ask me how. I'm never going to do it again. Okay, let's never say never. I likely will not ever care about making money off of YouTube again. The only reason there's no intro for this video is because Topwug thought it would be funny if I started a video out like that. And I think it's giving me the motivation to maybe redo my intro a bit. I'll keep a lot of it because I really do enjoy it. If you don't, just skip it. Like, it's like 40 seconds long, right? It's not that hard, guys. And maybe with this new little helmet brick, I might throw that in there. So it's kind of a joke because I ran the Undead Crown +1 season 1, and it's never the best. Now, technically, if you're running warriors and mages, but it's pretty close to being the best. But a +4 Necro Summon Circlet is just better. There's no argument. You can't argue. So here's me going through my little snapshot. All of the gear I have is showcased. The reason I'm going this ridiculous for this video, and I'll never do this again except for one more time because it'll be funny, trust me, is Hex gave me most of the gear for this video. So shout outs to him to getting me started to finally goddamn doing this, because I had been putting it off, like actually taking Skeleton King and Summoner seriously. And caveat, I had a lot of fun playing Tricurse Skeleton King again. And actually, I probably would prefer Vigor over Act 5. I know that's crazy, but like, yes, you can run Collins, and if you're running Collins, then go Act 5. But if you want to run Exile, Vigor is just such a quality of life for yourself and your summons. It's kind of why I'm still all in on the Trang Train. Like, Trang Chest is your best piece of armor. Now, if you're not going to swap at all, then K. Jurgens is probably best, just because you can still get like +3 skills. You can get FCR, FHR, MF, whatever. But if you're going to swap any piece of your gear, like an Ami, a ring, a weapon, etc., a shield, that +4, +5 Blood Warp is so nice, especially it being free. Like, it basically makes it pathetic just to hit 0 CD Blood Warp. On this video, of course, I am swapping off of Trang's chest to an Enigma, and I'm also all in on the Ligma train. Like, Enigma, and by the way, I can fix something I got wrong. Enigma is now 5 charges that recharge every 3 seconds. It started off at 3 charges every 8 seconds, and then was like slowly buffed to 5-second recharge to 3-second recharge now, and then from 3 charges to 5 charges. It's probably too good. And the reason why it's probably too good is because one of the problems with Enigma is it was basically a must for any character. But caveat, like, it was also an admission that teleport was too good, and hey, one class had it. Like, you're gonna count Dragonflight? No one does. You're gonna count Blink charges? Like, it probably was used on a few swaps for serious MFers in the day. But it never got much traction. So, you don't really want that to be the case where you want players to use Enigma, but it's like also kind of like, I get it when people kind of go, I like a good Enigma because teleport's just too good. I don't know. It is what it is. But that's just my thoughts on it right now. What are some of the other key pieces of gear? Well, I kind of touched on it. The Exile. Exile is a super good shield because with Exile, you get a whole bunch of defense and the Defiance Aura. And like I've been talking about all the time now, focusing on the defense values of your gear. For instance, like Act 1 Merc would die a lot for me back in the old days. Even just doing a T3 map by myself, she was the #1 liability. I guess now it's archers, but they're a summon and I can resummon them. Focusing on defense for the Act 1 archer made more of a difference than focusing on PDR for her. which is kind of nuts because in vanilla LOD, defense didn't matter too much outside of PvP. Now, like it was PDR and like defense was like a complete afterthought, except for maybe some weird, I don't know, hardcore players I could see being concerned about it. But basically, monsters' AR values just outscaled most of your defense. In this game, defense really, really matters. So I hope they don't necessarily change this too much, but like on my Necromancer, like these cows have like a 40% chance to hit me. So if you combine the fact they got a 40% chance to hit me, I've got a massive bone armor. I also have a bunch of summons that could be absorbing random hits. And then you also extrapolate that to my Axe 1 Merc, who's not just going to always die. It's awesome. I love it. What's the other key gear? Well, I wanted to hit 125 with Eternity, which is really tough. So you basically need a 30 FCR AMI. You need pretty close to like 25 plus FCR Iraq Mesh. Then like a, 30 FCR Train Gloves. 2 10 FCR rings. I have a 10 FCR Nature's Peace. I think that actually is going to be BIS. Dwarf Stars are good. BK rings are good. I love having 1 Wisp. Even 2 Wisp is fine if you really want to do that for Light Absorb. Because lightning can still be a dangerous element. Especially when you're playing with this low life based build, max energy. Do you need to worry about FHR? Not really. I think maybe I'm too low and you should probably try to hit 39 FHR. But 56 is probably overkill. But like, it's more that worrying about Eternity kind of caused me issues, which is why I swapped Skillers in the first place. I would never swap Summon Charms in the old days. But for this build, I swapped to 3 All-Res Charms. Now, there is a way you could run 125 FCR Eternity and not have to swap Skillers for All-Res Charms. And it's not even that crazy. You would need a nice pair of Tri-Res CBF boots. I'm using Marowaks for CBF right now, which kind of sucks. They do have a max light res core, which is cool. They don't really give any other good stats, like strength and dex, which I don't need for this build. But the max light res core is just nice that they happen to have that. But if you had a pair of even just Water Walks or Merman Sprockets for the FRW, but to hit the max res with Eternity, you'd really just want Tri-Res boots with CBF, which would be expensive, I get it, and they're pretty tough to find a nice pair sometimes. And then, if you got a nice 30 FCR AMI with some quality res on it, you would basically almost be capped. In fact, you could be capped, it's just that would be a very high quality Tri-Res boot or 30 FCR stat ring, res ring, whatever you want to call it. And getting a 30 FCR ring in general, guys, is not easy. Could you legitimately do it? Yeah, you probably craft 1,000 amulets, you'll probably get a 30 FCR ring. I think that's about my average. I think I got like a 29 or 28 pretty often, which you could make it work with this build. And that's pretty much it for the gear. I'm still running Lyrics on main hand. I don't think that's necessarily best. Now, people exaggerate the swapping and then killing off 2 warriors and mages. It's not that big of a deal, guys, okay? You swap, you rebuff, yeah, you lose 2 good ones, you get 2 worse ones. But I've got Act 1, which means I've got Faith and T-Might, and then I'm running a Mage Slayer Iron Golem. So I'm kind of focusing on archer damage. So in that case, that extra ED, it's going to be like 60. It actually kind of adds up when you're talking about a minion that has like 1,500 base damage and you have 8 of them. And then you've also got like another 8 warriors, and they have like another, 600 base damage or something like that. No, sorry, 300 base damage. But still, it adds up. You could just not recast. Either way, it's not a big deal. It's more about the life at that point, especially for the archers. They like it. In fact, you don't even really need Heart of the Wolverine. One of the caveats I'd like to bring up right now is that our summon AR is based on your character level. So the higher your character level, the less you need to worry about attack rating, and the less important attack rating is from anything like fanaticism, or like a Heart of the Wolverine, things like that. Basically, the way summon AR works is there's like some base stat all summons have, and then they times it by your character level. and that's going to be their AR. So like that becomes a really massive number when you get to a higher character level. So it basically becomes a complete non-issue at a certain point. I'm not sure when exactly that is, but basically by 90, you almost never worry about attack rating anymore. This is me showing the clear. I missed a couple of packs. As you see, I don't even know how I left all of these alive, but the rest of it was like pretty good. It was just at this point I was already picking up items, and so I called it done. It's definitely my worst map, and it was the first map running this final version of the build. There's really not much else to talk about. It's not an optimal setup. I did have a lot of fun playing it. I just like Tricurse. I think it's really interesting. I just like the idea of actually casting curses for my summons. And Decrepify, Amp, and Lower Resist are both like really, really, really good curses. By the way, I brick that later, so it's not exciting. Is there any tips I could give you? Don't run this build. Just run an Eternity-based build. You could run that Eternity-based build with Skeletons. You could run that Eternity-based build with Golems. You could do Optimal Summoner. But it's just hard to argue that Eternity and Revives aren't the overall best summons in the game. Is Tricurse Max Skeletons a quality option? Yes, you can see that. Is it the best? No. And exactly, that's just kind of what I'm trying to tell you guys. But I had fun doing it. The next video is going to be the optimal skeleton-based build, which, what does that mean? Well, you guessed it. I'm going to be running Revives, and then I'm going to be running Eternity. And it's just like, yeah, you could do the memes Mage Scythe, and I probably will get to that. I know Topwood kind of wanted me to do it. But I don't think the meme Mage Scythe could, ever compete with Eternity, but we'll get to that in a bit. I'm also going to post a couple of better videos of me playing this build, and maybe talk about something somebody think I missed or overlooked. I don't think I missed anything. It's kind of a simple build, or I guess to me it is. I've played this build a lot, and I'm kind of used to what kind of goes behind it. Well, anyways, Skeleton King out, guys. GG.
Come play with us. Come play with us, Daddy.